Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're diving into the world of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, an excellent choice.
Yeah. And, our listeners have sent in a ton of articles, guides, all sorts of things about this. It seems like they're really interested in a lot more than just, like, the cards themselves.
Right.
We're talking, like, origins, the impact, maybe even some, strategic sorcery, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And what I think is so fascinating about Yu-Gi-Oh
Mm,
is how it's evolved, right?
yeah.
I mean, it's gone from a simple concept to like this global phenomenon. And we're not even just talking about a card game here. It's like a full-blown multimedia experience.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so set the stage for us. Where did this all begin? How did we get from point A to point, whatever letter we're on now?
Well, believe it or not, Yu-Gi-Oh actually started life as a manga series.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't all like holographic cards and epic duels right from the get-go.
Yeah.
The original manga delved into some surprisingly dark themes.
Right.
We're talking death, ancient magic, you name it. It wasn't until later that the anime series and the trading card game as we know it really burst onto the scene.
So how did it make that leap from those darker roots to the Yu-Gi-Oh that, we know and love today?
I think that's a real testament to the creators and their ability to kind of adapt that core concept for different audiences. So the anime, while still strategic at its heart, really doubled down on themes of, friendship and teamwork and just the adrenaline rush of a good old-fashioned duel, right?
And it's not even just one story. You've got multiple anime series, each with their own sort of flavor, right?
Exactly. We're talking 7 distinct series and counting, and each one introduces new storylines, new characters, and even new mechanics to the game itself. So there's this constantly evolving universe, which I think is a huge part of its lasting appeal.
So it's like each series is like its own chapter in this grand, ever-expanding Yu-Gi-Oh saga.
Right.
That's got to be pretty unique for a card game, wouldn't you say?
It certainly is, and it's no coincidence.
Yeah.
Um, you see, each series often introduces new rules, new summoning methods,
Mm.
which directly parallel the evolution of the actual trading card game.
Oh, wow.
So it's this brilliant strategy for keeping the game fresh and exciting, both for longtime fans and for newcomers just getting into it.
Hold on. So they're basically mirroring the real-life game's evolution in the shows.
Exactly.
That's some next level, like, meta storytelling going on there.
Really is.
So we're talking everything from the classic like duel monsters with like the blue eyes white dragon to the latest iterations, all pushing the boundaries of like what a card game can even be.
Precisely. But beyond the mechanics, beyond all the cards and the rules, there's, I think, another layer to Yu Gi Oh's success. And that's the power of storytelling. Because this isn't just about the cards, it's about these deep, captivating narratives that are, woven into the very fabric of the game.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break that down for us. What
Mhm.
makes these stories so compelling? What makes them stand out?
Well, just think about it. You've got relatable characters, right? They're facing relatable challenges, they're overcoming adversity, they're going head to head with rivals, and it's all within this richly imagined, ever expanding universe. And I think that allows players, especially younger players, to connect with the game
Mm-hmm.
on this like deeper, almost emotional level.
Yeah, it's like any good fantasy series. You get invested in like the characters and the lore and their struggles, their triumphs. It's not just a game, it's like an experience.
Exactly.
And I have to imagine that that emotional connection plays a huge role in, Yu-Gi-Oh's lasting appeal, right?
Absolutely, it really does. It really does. And
Yeah.
and what I find so fascinating is that that emotional investment actually enhances the strategic depth of the game itself.
Yeah.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh, it isn't just about luck, right? It's a game of skill, strategy, really quick thinking.
So you're saying there's more to it than meets the eye. It's not just about like playing the biggest, flashiest monster and hoping for the best.
No, not at all. I mean, while luck certainly plays a part in any card game, Yu-Gi-Oh really rewards strategic thinking, planning out your moves, and really importantly, adapting to your opponent's tactics.
All right, so give us the rundown. What kind of strategic thinking are we talking about here? Like what makes a Yu-Gi-Oh duelist truly masterful?
Well, one thing that often surprises people is how much Yu-Gi-Oh can actually nurture essential skills, especially in younger players.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, take math. Players are constantly calculating life coins. They're factoring in, attack and defense modifiers. They're even assessing probabilities. It's like a mental workout disguised as a card game.
It's funny you say that because I remember spending like hours as a kid just like meticulously planning out my card combinations, just trying to like achieve that perfect, game-winning move.
Yep.
It felt like solving like this intricate puzzle, but with, mystical creatures and magical powers.
Exactly. And it extends beyond just the numbers, right? Reading comprehension is another
Mm.
crucial skill that's really honed by Yu-Gi-Oh! You have to like decipher card effects, which are often written in, quite technical language,
Well,
understand how they interact with other cards, and then anticipate your opponent's moves based on your interpretation of all that.
wow.
It's like a crash course in reading between the lines,
Yeah.
but all within, the context of this thrilling duel.
It's like deciphering ancient scrolls to unlock powerful combos and stuff.
Exactly.
Way more engaging than just reading a textbook, that's for sure.
Right.
And I imagine all of this strategizing that it does wonders for like critical thinking skills as well.
Absolutely. The very act of deck building is a testament to that, right? You're
Yeah.
essentially crafting a strategy from the ground up. You're choosing which cards to include, you're anticipating potential threats, figuring out how to maximize your resources. And then of course there's that adaptability factor, being able to think on your feet, adjust your strategy on the fly when, the unexpected happens.
Because in the heat of a duel, things rarely go exactly according to plan.
Rarely.
Right. You need to be able to like handle those curveballs, those moments where your opponent throws like a wrench in your perfectly, or I guess not perfectly, but carefully constructed strategy.
Precisely. And let's not overlook the social aspect of it all too. Engaging in organized play, whether it's friendly matches or official tournaments, that brings a whole other set of skills into play. We're talking like sportsmanship, learning to win and lose gracefully,
Mm.
um, understanding trading etiquette,
Mm.
and really just, forging friendships
Mm.
within this really passionate community.
Yeah, it's like any game or hobby that like brings people together, right? You
Yes.
bond over a shared passion, you learn from each other, you build those like meaningful connections. And from what I've gathered, like the Yu-Gi-Oh community has like a really strong reputation for being like particularly welcoming and supportive,
Absolutely.
especially to newcomers.
And what makes Yu-Gi-Oh particularly special in this regard is its layered complexity. So you can start as a complete beginner,
Yeah.
Right.
learning the ropes, grasping those fundamental summoning techniques. But the beauty is you can continually evolve as a player. There are always new strategies to master, more intricate combos to discover, different deck archetypes to explore.
Hold on. Deck archetypes.
Yeah.
For those of us who haven't quite reached that level of Yu-Gi-Oh mastery, what exactly does that?
Yeah, so a deck archetype is basically a style of play that's like centered around specific card types, mechanics, or even win conditions. Think of it like choosing a class in an RPG, right? Each archetype has its own strengths, its weaknesses, its like strategic intricacies. And this is what allows for such incredible diversity and depth in the game.
So you're constantly learning, evolving, kind of refining your skills. It's not just about like winning or losing, it's about the journey, that constant pursuit of improvement.
Exactly.
That's really cool. That's what makes it so captivating for like players of all ages and skill levels.
Absolutely. And with these valuable skills developed, you might even find yourself ready to, test your skills against other duelists in the exciting world of organized play.
So let's say you've got those skills sharpened, your deck is like raring to go, and you're itching to finally dive into like the world of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. What's next?
Well, the great thing is the Yu-Gi-Oh community has created a system that really caters to like everyone, from
Well-
casual duelists all the way up to, aspiring champions. So you've got tournaments for all skill levels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking local game store showdowns, regional qualifiers, even the grand stage of the World Championships.
Wow. So there's like a real ladder to climb, a path for those who like dream of reaching the pinnacle of like Yu-Gi-Oh glory.
Exactly.
But I imagine like diving headfirst into that world, it can feel pretty intimidating for newcomers, especially if you're, just starting out.
Oh, absolutely.
Are there like entry points for those who are still like finding their footing in the world of competitive dueling?
For sure, for sure. And the community understands that, right? Like,
Yeah.
not everyone is ready to face off against, seasoned veterans right away.
Right.
That's where events like Dragon Duels come in. Have you heard of these?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so these tournaments are specifically designed for like younger players,
Okay.
and they provide like this more relaxed, more supportive environment for them to, learn the ropes of competitive play.
So it's less about like, cutthroat competition and more about like fostering a love for the game,
Exactly.
allowing these young duelists to like build confidence and really hone their skills.
Yeah, it's all about like nurturing that passion early on.
Yeah.
And then, for those who are maybe looking to experiment with new strategies or new cards, there are also premier events. They're more casual tournaments
Yeah.
where players can kind of test out new decks, get feedback from fellow duelists, and just
Yeah.
just enjoy the social aspect of the game without that, that high stakes pressure.
It's like a testing ground for those like crazy combos we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Just
A place to like see what works, what doesn't without the pressure of like a super high stakes tournament on the line.
right, exactly.
Now, for those who like are ready for like a truly immersive experience, you mentioned something about Yu-Gi-Oh extravaganzas earlier.
Yes.
Those sound
Yeah.
pretty intense.
They're amazing. Imagine like a massive celebration of all things Yu-Gi-Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Tournaments for every skill level, vendors selling like rare cards, live demonstrations, cosplay, you name it. It's like a Comic-Con, but for duelists.
Now that sounds like an experience.
Oh yeah.
But before jumping into like any tournament, regardless of the level, I imagine there's some prep work involved.
Of course.
What are the like essentials that a new player would need to know?
Well, the absolute most crucial element is having a legal deck.
Okay.
Tournaments, they adhere to like very specific deck construction rules and policies to make sure everything's fair.
Right.
The source material you provided actually details these rules, like in depth. But I understand it can feel like learning a new language at first.
Yeah, it's like that moment you realize it's not just about like collecting the coolest like monsters and spells, but there's like this whole other rule book you got to like wrap your head around.
Right, exactly.
Where does a newcomer even like begin to decipher all of that?
Honestly, the best advice I can give is to tap into that Yu-Gi-Oh community we were talking about.
Okay.
Local game stores, online forums, they're invaluable resources.
Yeah.
Experienced players are more often than not, they're more than happy to like offer guidance on deck construction, tournament etiquette, all that good stuff. It's all about like paying it forward,
So it's like having mentors in the world of dueling, guiding you through all the like complexities of building a competitive deck.
Exactly. And beyond the deck itself, you'll need card sleeves, of course,
Right.
to protect your cards from wear and tear. Any seasoned duelist will tell you that is essential.
Right.
But just as important as the physical cards is understanding tournament etiquette.
Okay.
This includes things like demonstrating good sportsmanship, showing respect for your opponent, knowing the procedures for like challenging rulings, things like that.
So it's not just about, the cards you play, it's how you play the game, upholding those values of sportsmanship and respect for your fellow duelists.
It's all part of it.
Sounds like those values are like woven into the very fabric of the community itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's hard. Yu-Gi-Oh! It's about passion. It's about strategy and the thrill of the duel. Winning is great, of course,
Right.
but I think it's crucial to remember it's also about the journey. It's about embracing that learning process, celebrating the victories, learning from the losses, all within this vibrant community of, like-minded individuals who share that passion.
It sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh offers like so much more than meets the eye. It's a game that sparks imagination. It helps develop like these really crucial skills and it connects people through this like shared passion that we've been talking about. We've explored its captivating origins, we've delved into its surprising depths, and we've even like charted a course for navigating this exciting world of competitive play. But as with all of our deep dives, this is really just the beginning. And hopefully this has sparked your curiosity to, maybe explore the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Uncover those hidden depths for yourself. So until next time, happy dueling.